we have a very easy objective of doubling it to at least, 5 million ounces. That's what we have. It's not very ambitious. We have, in my view, potential for a lot more. But I think this is like a reasonable objective that, backed up by what we see at surface, what we see in drilling, what we see in geophysical studies that we've done as well.
Welcome to In It to Win It. This is Steve Barton, and thank you for tuning in. We're here at the 2025 New Orleans Investment Conference. I'm here with Cassiar Gold, Marco Roque, the CEO. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks, Steve, for having me.
Yes, pleasure is all on my side of the table, sir. Okay, I like to start out all of these. What is your market cap, cash, and debt of Cassiar Gold?
Sure. So market cap, well, it depends on Canadian or US dollars. In the US dollars, around 25 to 30 million US dollars right now. No debt, and cash, just under 5 million.
Okay, let's just keep it all US
US,
dollars just
yeah.
to keep it consistent for the interview. So 25 to 30 US million and market cap and about 5 million in cash. And as every exploration company should not have debt, you don't as well, right?
That's right.
Okay, all right. Let's start off. You had a pretty good hook for me yesterday, and you said that you believe that your company is the most undervalued of all the companies displayed here. Why do you say that?
Well, it's just looking at valuation. I mean, don't want to look. Well, I can go into a lot of detail into the company, but just from one metric, we have a 2.3 or 2.6 million ounce combined resource, depending on the cutoff grade, if it's 0.4 or 0.3. But that's around 10 billion US dollars worth of metal on a $30 million market cap. So did the math. That's pretty undervalued, and can go around here and see if there's any company with that kind of valuation, which I know there isn't because I checked.
Right, you've done your homework. What are some other things that separate you from the other 100 people on the floor?
Yeah, a lot of things. We can start with the people. So our company is led by a team of executives that has not only the skill set but actually the experience in discovering, building, permitting, operating, selling mines in British Columbia, where we operate, in Canada, across the world. And this is these are multi-billion-dollar projects, multi-billion-dollar mines. So that's one. The second thing is, we have a pretty massive land package with 59,000 hectares and 5 past-producing mines, and we have 2 mine permits that come along with it. It's extremely valuable. Time is money. So in Canada, on average, 6 maybe 10 years to permit a mine. So we already have mine permits in place, put us in a very unique position. The third thing that really sets us apart as a company is the fact that also because we are a past producing district, we have all the infrastructure already in place. We have paved road access to the deposit. As paved road, not just a road. Most projects don't have a road to the project. You don't have to helicopter or fly in.
Yeah.
We have a paved road straight to the deposit, straight to the project. We have a fully owned and permitted mill on site. We have access to power, grid power, we have access to water. We have 17 portals for the underground veins. So we have 25 kilometers of underground working. So we have tailings facilities. We have a wealth of infrastructure that's worth many times our market cap in replacement value, and that's just another metric for undervaluation. And as an operator, just in the last 5 years, we raised $50 million, advancing and growing the resource very consistently, very high hit ratio, and we only drilled, or really only explored less than 0.3% of our land package.
Okay.
So the entirety of our resource is on roughly just over 1 square kilometer, around 1 square mile in US terms, out of 590 square kilometer land package. So there's a lot of room. There's a lot of room to grow, and our deposit remains open. And by the way, the deposit I mentioned starts right at surface, with 90% of the ounces, or 91% of the ounces to be more precise, occurring less than 150 meters from surface. So these are just a few things that makes this quite unique.
So this will be open pit.
Open pit.
Okay. All right. You doing heap leach, or you're going to run it through the mill that you already got?
Well, it's a good question. We don't know for sure. More likely will be gravity flotation.
Okay.
And the reason I'm saying this is we're actually going to be, we started and we're going to be releasing metallurgical studies in the beginning of next year.
Okay.
And actually following that, the first PEA on the project. So that will give us a lot more information about metallurgical recoveries, what is the optimal method. But the area where we have the resource is just around one of the 5 best producing mines, and that in that area, gravity flotation mill with a cyanide leach at the end, that was used to process the material though for roughly 35,000 ounces historically in the 80s. So, and we can look at the historical records and we know the recoveries were quite good. We have records showing, over 90% recovery using that method. Now, maybe there's better methods, cheaper, more optimal, better recoveries. And that's, some of the answers we might receive over, the metallurgical results we're going to have in the next 2 months.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, number one, like people. Number two, you've got 5 past producing mines on the site. So their best place to build a mine is right next to another one, right? You've also got some infrastructure. You got roads. Some of them are paved. You have a past producing mill. I think it was 300 tons per day.
That's right.
Okay. You've got power lines on site. You guys have a well, so you got water. And there's past tailings there that you could take advantage of. Let's talk about your experience. What have you done in the past that relates to this project now?
I mean, I actually started my career as a in banking, as a banker. But basically, in the last, I would say 12, 13, 14 years, basically out of business school in Hong Kong, set up, in partners with, MBA classmates, we set up basically M&A advisory business, connecting the precious metals producers, mainly Australian and Canadian, with Asian capital, Asian institutional funds, Chinese SOEs, Japanese off-takers, you name it. So actually, with that process, got to know the industry quite well, the big producers, how they operate, things that can go right, the things that can go wrong, the importance of gold price, the importance of location, jurisdiction, grade, access, etc. And then from there, starting investing, in our own money, investing in, actually started going down the value chain, like seeing the opportunity of like the new mines. And the mine development is actually quite interesting and provide massive returns to investors. So kind of going into the, closer and closer to the source of the new projects and eventually into exploration. In the process, got involved with several companies that, from the start, co-founded a few, took a few companies public. In 2020, when I looked at Cassiar Gold for the first time, there was no resource. It was a past producing district with a lot of potential, infrastructure, permits, etc. But the question mark about what's the potential, how many ounces can we find here? And over the years we were able to put our resource for 1 million ounces at 1.4. Now we have a combined 2.6 million ounces here. So it's and a very high hit ratio. In the last 3 years, our hit ratio intercepting gold in drilling is 99%, 98%. So it's very high.
Okay.
So it's really living up to this expectation. Of course, we're going from the known areas, with the past producing mines to the unknown. But the system has been delivering, and also this type of organic gold deposits. I don't want to go too much into the boring geology, but it is important because these systems tend to be big, they be pervasive, but relatively homogeneous, and so it's really a type of deposit that tends not to disappoint, and that's really been the case here.
Okay, so in your mind, the mines that already exist are probably just little subsets of a bigger.
Yes, absolutely. We know when you really zoom out again, I don't want to get too much to the geology. It's a very expert field, but when you really zoom out to actually the continental, scale.
Yeah.
Basically, this is a belt that goes from the Yukon all the way down to California, which is actually the little site for many, late 1800 gold rush,
Yeah.
which ours is also. It's the gold fever in our district started in 1872 when the solid 72-ounce gold nugget was found. Yeah, so there's gold in their hills, as they say. So at a continental scale, we know we're part of a very large belt, and we know there's an expression of that belt, coming through 15 kilometers north south, and basically the five past producing mines are linked to this feature. Um, Now, and we know we have gold showings at surface. We have the past producing mines. We have geophysical anomalies. So this is indicating all the very large system. But you got to bring the proof machine in, the drill bit, and drill and send the assays to the lab and make sure the gold is there. And so far, that's what we've been doing, and very very successfully as well.
Okay. All right. You're a geologist, Jill?
Yeah.
Tell us about her.
So Jill's very experienced. She worked at Sabina. Sabina, and actually one of our board members, James, also worked at Sabina. He was exploration director there. They defined 10 million ounces in the Arctic Circle. And eventually they sold that project to B2 for, I think, 1.1 or 1.2 billion
Okay.
a few years ago. That project actually just went into production 2 months ago. Um, she also spent 7 years after that at North American Palladium, and oversaw the acquisition by Paula. It was also like a billion-dollar acquisition. And she's been in our team for 5 years. She's a great operator. An excellent geologist. Has been leading the team in delivering results, through some good times and also through some very lean years, because now there's a gold fever since the beginning of the year, but before that, the last 2 3 years were very rough for the industry. So with very small budgets, we were actually being able to advance the project and deliver very very successfully as well.
Oh, she seems to be hitting the drill holes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what we like to hear.
Exactly.
Okay. Who owns your company? Do you have any vested partners? Tell us about the share break.
Share structure, absolutely. So insiders own roughly 15 or just under 15% of the company.
Okay.
There's no like seed or cheap, 1 cent stock. It's all bought and paid for. Our chairman, Steve Letwin, is actually the former president CEO of IAMGOLD. He was there for 10 years until 2020. His big project there was the acquisition and the development of the Gote Gold project, which is really sending, IAMGOLD to all new, new highs, which is, really impressive. Um, and I've personally put in, just this year, $300,000 into the company, about 1.3 million in the last few years. My average cost is around, I guess in terms of US dollars, probably around 20, 25, 20, 25 cents US.
Okay.
So, kind of like, just in the money or slightly underwater right now. And insiders participate in every single private placement by regularly on the open market. In my case as well. Other board members as well have very experienced boards.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Okay. Worst case scenario. It's doing the circle of death. Oh no. Okay. Worst case scenario, we will do it again and we'll record it with the iPad. Best. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Best case scenario. We'll
Well-
repeat the question. All right. And you got me on that camera, honey? Okay. All right. Here we go. We'll start from here. Okay. Who owns your company? Do you have any vested partners? Give us the breakdown, the share structure.
Sure. So, high level, insiders roughly own just under 15%.
Okay.
Institutions own just under 30%, and the balance is, high net worth individuals, retail.
Okay.
So in terms of insiders, Insiders buy rarely on the open markets, participate in every single private placement. This year alone, I invested $300,000 into the company. Over the last few years, around 1.3 million. My average cost in terms of U.S. dollar price is around 25 cents. Um, our chairman has put $3 million into the company, and with a significantly higher cost base as well there. All the board members participate. Our shareholders very active, and in terms of institutions, maybe starting with the U.S. institutions, we have U.S. Global. Um, Equity Management Associates, that's the fund ran by Lawrence Lepard. We had Crescat as an investor. We have like Sprott, Delbrook. In Europe, we have Ixios Commodity Discovery Fund, M3SC. Out of Australia, we have Terra Capital. We have investors that are Hong Kong. We have very diversified specialist mining fund. Junior mining fund investors, from all over the world.
Okay. All right. So about 15% is owned by insiders. Another 30 is owned by institutions, including Crescat, U.S. Global, and Sprott. And the remaining 55% is retail. Okay. And how much do you own?
Around 5%.
Around 5% of the company.
Okay. Well bought and paid for. The majority of it.
Okay. All right. So you have a vested interest in the stock performing well.
Absolutely.
Okay. Scalability. The main commodity you're looking for is gold, right? Anything else on there? Size of the prize? Tell us about what the scale can be.
Well, I got to be careful, so I don't have the securities commission on. If I really tell you what I think, I might be in trouble.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have to tone it down a little bit. But we already have 2.3 or 2.6 million ounces, depending on the cutoff rate, combined resource. Which is already 2.6 is already over $10 billion US, depending where the gold price, if it's 4,000 or dollars an ounce or whatever. So we see clearly the potential. I mean, to start off, like the deposit that we have is 1 square kilometer out of 590 square kilometers.
Okay.
Right? So there's a lot of room to grow. Now,
Yeah.
not that everything is perspective, but this is just on the XY basis, on a lateral expansion. 90% of our ounces occur within 150 meters from surface.
Yeah.
These are deposits, and the deposit is basically only constrained by drilling. So it's open laterally, and it's open at depth for expansion. These orogenic deposits can go really deep, 2K, 50 meters down, more.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of potential at depth.
Yeah.
But also, you also have to think that you need to have grade to justify going really deep. That's, in terms of scalability. Now, forgetting the depth potential, which, is quite significant, just laterally, we have completed over 70 square kilometers of geophysics. At the end of last year, we've completed roughly 11 square kilometers of mapping and sampling, and we consistently see anomalies. So we see, gold at surface in a very large footprint. That's many, many times the footprint of Taurus deposit itself. So, I can throw a lot of numbers in terms of scalability, but our goal, which is actually not very ambitious given the geology and the data that we've seen, and you can find it online on our presentation. We have a very easy objective of doubling it to at least 5 million ounces.
Yeah.
So that's what we have. It's not very ambitious. We have, in my view, potential for a lot more. But I think this is like a reasonable objective that is backed up by what we see at surface, what we see in drilling, what we see in geophysical studies that we've done as well.
Okay. All right. And the 2.6, that's measured and indicated and inferred, or?
So around 80% of the resource is inferred.
Okay.
About 20 is indicated.
Okay.
The drill space that we have in inferred is between 50 to 60 meters. On the indicated is roughly 25 to 30. The indicated grade at a 0.4 cutoff is 1.4 grams per ton, and inferred is around 0.95.
Okay. All right. What's the you got
And
5?
again, start at surface,
Yeah,
which is really important.
yeah,
Start at surface
yeah,
outcropping.
yeah. Having 1.4 at surface is very, very good. What is the biggest unanswered question facing Cassiar today?
It's a good question. I mean, for me, the biggest unanswered question is really like, how big is this? How big is this? It's really the biggest unanswered question. Of course, there's a lot of things that we need to do, like metallurgical studies are coming. You know, I think there's a lot of people that want to see a proper study being done as opposed to just relying on historical production. Although that's for me one of the best forms of studies.
Yeah.
The proof is in the pudding, as they say. Uh, PEA economic studies really to translate into actual metrics, all-in sustaining costs, NPVs, capex. Have a more precise. We can look at comparable projects and have a sense, but uh, in a good engineering study done by a solid firm, I think is also going to help answer those questions, and that's incoming. We're actually, talking about catalysts and what's incoming, we also have 7,300 meters of drilling, which is completed, all of which are yet to be released. Um, and interestingly, we've done step outs at the Taurus deposit where we have the entirety of the resource, at the margins to expand, continue to test, see if we can eventually find the limits of the deposit, which I hope we won't.
Yeah.
Um, but 2/3 of the drilling we've done this year was actually on a target, which is 2.5 kilometers south of Taurus. It's along that 15-kilometer trend that I mentioned.
Yeah.
But it's just 2 kilometers south of Taurus. And we had historically there 9 drill holes. In the last couple of years that we drill as an operator, the highlight last year was 141 meters at 0.89 grams per ton. So similar widths and similar grades as we see at Taurus. In this year, we've put quite a bit of drilling there. So I think over 10 drill holes in there, and with very large step outs. And also interesting, we put out a press release in September on that drilling in that area, and we put our deepest drill hole to date as an operator anywhere in the project. So it was a 720-meter long drill hole.
Oh, okay.
Put some core pictures. We also went through a sedimentary layer. Again, it's more about geology, but it kind of confirms the potential of stacking, which is related to the potential at depth because we have this stacking of mineralization, indicated by this sedimentary layer that we're going to another unit. And the core picture looks exactly like the stuff that we love and like at Taurus. And it's a very long drill hole. It looks good. We don't have the assays that they're coming, so stay tuned for that. But again, at Taurus, 91% of the ounces are within 150 meters from surface. So 720-meter long drill hole can have pretty significant implications.
Yeah. We'll see. So that comes out. The PEA is coming out in 2026. What first quarter?
Yeah, so drill results imminently in up to probably January, February,
Okay.
right after met studies, right after PEA. So I think we're going to be releasing all of this, uh, you know, to finish releasing all this within, the first half of next year.
Okay. First half. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. You got $5 million in the bank. What are you going to do with it?
Save it.
Save it. Okay.
Watch it closely. Be careful the way we spend, and and just wait for these catalysts to come, and then see. I mean, there's a potential that get warrants exercised. If we have the stock needs to double to see the warrants exercised, but they can bring roughly 25 million Canadian, so that's about just under 20 million US into the treasury. And maybe other activities that could help us propel us. So but the catalysts are there or are coming and we're we watch very closely our shareholders' money, and we're all really spending very wisely to really advance the project.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else I should have asked that I didn't? Anything you want to leave our viewers with?
Yeah, I think we talked about the company, some of the key advantages. We talked about the catalyst for the next 6 months, but like kind of linking as well into the my very an ambitious scalability question on the project, our goal within the next, 2 to 3 years is to, grow the size of the resource, and advance it all through, in parallel, deliver, catalysts through drill results and expansion of mineralization in increased size resource, which is our goal. And at the same time, also take it through the, more advanced in economic studies, from PEA to pre-feas to feasibility eventually. We believe that this project has the potential to be in production, in 5 years.
Oh.
And it's a very attractive deposit in a safe jurisdiction with infrastructure. There's a lot of potential here. We're rising gold price. I think there's a gold fever really starting. You see a lot of money flowing to the metal. And, it's cascading down from the producers all the way to the juniors. You have M&A just getting started. And, we also have another aspect of our company, which we didn't touch, which is we talk about one of the best producing mines in the mineralization around it, but we have 4 best producing high-grade underground mines that are running between 10 and 20 grams per ton, for which we have 17 portals, 35 kilometers of underground workings, and a fully owned and permitted mill that we can use to bootstrap this to production and produce, tens of thousands of ounces per year, and really make us independent of, equity markets that can be, volatile and sometimes also a little bit schizophrenic.
Volatility is our friend. Awesome. Okay, well, thank you for coming on the show. If viewers want to get a hold of you and follow Cassiar Gold, how can they do so?
Well, can check our website, social media pages, cassiargold.com. That's CASSIAR gold.com. You can find us on, LinkedIn, X, Facebook, etc. You can also find us on our email. My email is Marco at cassiargold.com, or you can reach out to info@cassiargold.com. So, if you have any questions, if you want to know more about the company, if we're just interested to know more about the industry, feel free to reach out. Say, we'll talk with any investor that is interested. And we have a pretty exciting project, and want people to join us on this journey.
Okay, his own email, ladies and gentlemen, that is the correct answer. If you want to know about the company, contact the man himself. Marco, thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate it. Thank you. And thank you for tuning in. Go to stevebartonmoney.com for more, and have a wonderful day.